Our understanding of atherosclerosis, if you take, we were thinking this is a disease of 60s, 70s. We earlier thought it was a degenerative disorder. Now we have come that it is part of an inflammatory disorder, starts as early as 18 months of life. The atherosclerosis starts as early as 18 months of life in our body. You all know these risk factors. I don't want to enumerate them again. But most of the times, you can see here the statistics, most of our patients are below 40 years. That's really very discouraging. If your number of risk factors increase, we know that the risk for coronary artery disease also increases. But when you see the epidemiology, nearly 50% of the patients have either one or less than one risk factor or no risk factors. We know the traditional risk factors like hypertension, diabetes mellitus, smoking, all this. In spite of all this, 50% of our patients doesn't have any risk factor, and they develop myocardial infarction, they develop atherosclerotic complications. And how to prevent that? Our research, our emphasis was more targeted towards lipid in the last 20 years. Like all the heart attacks, you just measure cholesterol. If your cholesterol is high, you treat. If it is not, you may not do anything more. But that understanding has changed. The Paul Ridker is the one who started this. He thought there is some problem apart from your traditional risk factors. By measuring these traditional risk factors, we are not able to pick up the patients who require further management apart from all the drugs what we have in the armamentarium to treat atherosclerosis or coronary artery disease. When he measured C-reactive protein, he correlated that C-reactive protein, if it is high, these people had higher cardiac mortality and morbidity. Similarly, when you measure the cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, if it is high, they have higher mortality. We had a landmark study earlier, Framingham Heart Study. From that, we calculate a risk score, life risk score. If your risk score is high, your chances of developing coronary artery disease or future events are more. So when they correlated both, a high C-reactive protein, high sensitivity C-reactive protein, if it is high, these people have higher chances of developing diseases. So then how do you determine? All of us will take the blood sugar, cholesterol, all these measurements you take. But still, we are not able to address most of the coronary artery disease patients. So in 2003, when the concept of high sensitivity C-reactive protein came, they thought this should be used as a estimating for risk factors for coronary artery disease. So like diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, HCRP should also be measured. But can you measure it to all? No. That time the guideline in 2010, they said you measure this in elderly people with high risk population. In 2013, to treat atherosclerosis, to treat high cholesterol, if the patient has HCRP, you need to treat more aggressively than patients who didn't have HCRP higher levels. The normal levels are less than 3. So if the HCRP is more than 3 milligrams, you need to treat them aggressively. Then, as Dr. Raju has already told you that the inflammation, how the anti-inflammatory drugs are used in, as they are used in rheumatoid arthritis, you can still use them in atherosclerosis also. That's the concept now in, so monocyte is a WBC white cell. So once it enters the endothelium, what you are seeing here is a monocyte which is blue in color getting into the endothelium and subendothelial space. LDL, we all know, it's a bad cholesterol, as everybody knows. Once it enters the cell, it gets oxidized. Once it is oxidized, it is a trigger for inflammation. So what it triggers, along with macrophages, the monocyte, once it enters into the intima, it changes its shape, its action by chemicals. now it is called macrophage. Macro means big, phase means eating. So what it eats? It starts eating all these oxidized LDL cholesterols. Once it starts eating, at certain stage, this macrophage, which is filled with oxidized LDL, becomes a foam cell, which is nothing but a precursor of atherosclerosis. So this atherosclerosis is all a subintimal process. But once, because of the chemicals that are released during the atherosclerosis, lot of molecules are involved here. WBC is involved. The factors which Dr. Raju told you, interleukins and all other molecules are involved. And what happens is the intima gets a lot of smooth muscle cells. And you see the yellow color here. On that it is a lipid core. On that the smooth muscle cells form fibrous tissue, and that's how a adenoma is formed in the body. And you can see at the edges of the on the edges of the atheroma, this fibrous plaque is thin, and that's the area where it usually breaks. This happens at the bifurcation of the coronary arteries, this shoulder of the fibroma. So once this foam cell is formed, it gives a lot of toxic substances, as already told to you by NF, kappa B pathway is one, kynurenine pathway is one. I don't want to go into the details of all that. What they release certain chemicals. What they do, the chemicals attract platelets, they attract a lot of WBC, lymphocytes, and all this perpetuate the adhesion of the monocyte to the endothelium, and this process goes on and forms a atheroma or a atherosclerotic plaque. So what are the treatment modalities you have now? Earlier, our entire focus was on cholesterol, thinking that statins are anti-cholesterol drugs. But subsequently, we have found out that statins are not only anti-cholesterol, they are anti-inflammatory drugs. So what are the mechanisms by which you can try to reduce the atherosclerosis? Is tackling at the level of inflammation. So you have an anti-inflammatory drug in the vessel lumen, that is statin. You have a drug which acts on the NF kappa B pathway, that is PPA gamma agonist, and then antiplatelet drug like aspirin, clopidogrel. Then you have TNF inhibitors in the form of canakinumab. So all these are acting at the level of cell, at the level of inflammation, which is the precursor for atherosclerosis. So now, as Dr. Raju has already told you, the curcumin, which is nothing but our paspu, turmeric, which is the precursor after various extractions and subtractions, you get this molecule, which is an anti-inflammatory drug. So if you take at the current treatment, you know, statins we give all, ACE inhibitors, ARBs, antiplatelets, aspirins, PPR agonists in the form of anti-diabetic drugs, then you have TNF inhibitors, then CRP, interleukin 6. Now the studies are going on in the Western world, especially in the Paul Ridkin's lab in Boston. They are using methotrexate, which is used in rheumatoid arthritis. Now they are using it especially in coronary artery disease. So this kynurenine pathway, what it does is, from tryptophan, it forms NAD, and this kynurenine pathway is one which is responsible for 3-hydroxyantranilic acid, which is nothing but a chemical derived from tryptophan. What it does in macrophages is nothing but an antigenic cell. It activates nuclear factor kappa B, that is NF-kB pathway. Activity of inducible nitric acid synthase is inhibited by this, and all these interleukins and all chemotactins are involved in this. This pathway, 3-HHA, is involved in important immunoregulation. It has also been shown in experimental studies that it acts on the genes which regulate lipids and reduce the lipid levels. It also acts at the level of atherioma. In atheromatous tissue, you see a lot of WBC, especially lymphocyte, T lymphocyte. So this drug, this molecule reduces these T lymphocytes, and it also reduces atherosclerosis in experimental animals. So it has a direct benefit. This molecule has a direct benefit in atherosclerotic tissue, and it decreases the bad cholesterol levels, and it reduces vascular inflammation, thereby reducing atherosclerosis. This slide you have already seen, so I don't want to go into the details. So what it does is it reduces inflammation at the end of the day. It acts at multiple levels, and it has also been shown in animals that it reduces the ischemic heart disease, it reduces left ventricular diastolic dysfunction, it also acts at the level of the diabetes, neuropathy, and it reduces neuropathy, it reduces glucose. Now the emphasis in the treatment of atherosclerosis is anti-inflammatory drugs, starting from cyclosporin, colchicine, methotrexate, and all these molecules are now actively studied, especially in acute MI and chronic stable angina, and we will be seeing a lot of this research, especially in anti-inflammatory drugs like anti-malignant drugs in future. So at the end of the day, this curcumin is nothing but our own turmeric or pasupu. So maybe we cannot take it in an active form like that, and curcumin will reduce all that, whatever benefits you should get from turmeric, we will get by this curcumin. Thank you for your attention.